Alrighty, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Now, as we all know, it's been a pretty good year for F1. We've had a lot of great races this year, and the fact that we even had a season is in of itself a miracle. But this year has been filled with controversy. We've had, the recent signing of Saudi Arabia. We've also had Nikita Mazepin come into the scene with some already very controversial things being released about him. And we almost had a near repeat of last year where we lost Hulkenberg at the end of the season, this time with Sergio Perez. Of course, though, that's now changed, as 2 days ago we found out that Sergio Perez is confirmed to race at Red Bull Racing for 2021 to replace Albon, as Albon will fall into more of a test driver and reserve role. So, in this video, we're going to cover 5 reasons why Sergio Perez's move to Red Bull is good for F1. For starters, Red Bull's car from last year, 2020, the RB16, has been undeniably difficult to drive, especially at the beginning of the season. It was having major problems with oversteer. It seems like Max prefers that kind of pointy front end, and it was really a car that didn't suit Alex at all. And this was apparent even in 2019 when obviously Pierre Gasly was struggling to drive the car as well. It seemed to get even more difficult to drive in 2020. So me and my brother, we were all rooting for Alex to do well. We didn't want him to struggle in that car at all. And I think that mentality remained throughout most of the season until it just became blatantly obvious that Alex could not get a hold of that car. He really wasn't making a steady learning curve. And by the end of it, in my opinion, he's leaving almost worse off than Pierre did. He seems just even more demoralized and less motivated and so on. So I think a test and reserve role will be good for him because it will allow him to kind of get used to the characteristics of the Red Bull, get used to a little bit of a pointier front end. And I think above all else, the test and reserve role will kind of eliminate some of that pressure he's been feeling throughout the season and allow him to really just come to grips with himself more than anything. One of the reasons that people believed Alex would be able to keep the seat for 2021 was that Red Bull, the energy drink specifically, has ties to Thailand. The co-founder of the company, Heyo Everyone, is from Thailand. He's now passed away recently, but he still has heirs to the company. So it was believed that Alex might be able to keep the seat for that reason. So with the confirmation of Checo in that seat for 2021, it eliminates the fear that there might have been something more than just the talent of the two drivers at play. And although politics are always integral to F1, it's never something that we really enjoy as fans. So I think, again, a reason as to why seeing Checo in that seat is good for fans. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Yes, Sergio Perez is a paid driver, was a paid driver, has always been a paid driver. But that is not to say he hasn't stayed on the grid for 10 years just because he's a paid driver. He's consistently been one of the top 10 drivers on the grid, and he's always deserved the seat that he's had. And this year, more than other years, we have a lot of paid drivers taking up the kind of lower position seats in F1. And a lot of these seats were, hopefully going to be places that Perez could go, obviously backwards from Racing Point, but still, have a place on the grid. And as those seats got filled by paid drivers, we quickly realized there might not be a place for Sergio to go. Specifically with Nikita Mazepin, someone who finished 5th in his second season of Formula 2, where someone like Callum Ilott finished 2nd in his first season of Formula 2. We kind of as fans start to fear that these paid drivers are going to take over the grid. And with Perez being able to stay for 2021, kind of proves to all of us that F1 as an entity still values talent over money. This is Perez's 10th year in Formula 1. He started in 2011 with Sauber. He's consistently been able to get the best out of his car. He has 10 podiums to his name, never having a top 3 car. He has 1 win with the secure Grand Prix victory, and he finished this year 4th in the championship. He actually, fun fact, finished closer to Bottas than Bottas did to Hamilton, which is crazy when you think about it, because Perez missed 2 races, the most of any driver this year, because of COVID, and Bottas missed none. And yeah, it's important to remember, as I said, that he's never had a car that finished in the top 3 of the Constructors' Championship. Racing Point almost did it this year, but McLaren just ousted them at the end, so they finished 4th. And even in his McLaren days in 2013, that car finished 5th in the Constructors. Coming off of a really good year in 2012, that car was just not up to par in 2013, and it was really kind of the start of the end in that period for McLaren.
Oh my goodness!
This final reason is more important to sport itself than it is to racing. But, Formula One is an international sport, and it's very important that the sport has fans in all continents around the world. Checo represents, all of Latin America. There are no South American drivers in F1 right now. So in a sense, he represents both Central America and South America. And I think Checo, more than maybe some other drivers on the grid, just brings a lot of support in and of himself. When he goes to Mexico, he's really celebrated there. He's seen as an icon in the nation. You can see it in things like the Netflix documentaries. When he's going to the Mexican Grand Prix, he gets, one of the best support groups of any driver on the grid. And I think to have considered maybe losing that for 2021, it's really, a good thing for the sport that we, still get to see him there. Let's hope that Checo can boss it in that car next year. I'd love to be able to see him take the fight to Max, push Max to that next level. Maybe even bring the fight to Lewis, to Bottas, really give us a proper constructors battle next year. We haven't had one in ages. And I think Red Bull has now really secured one of the best driver lineups on the grid for next year. But let me know what you all think about this announcement, whether you like it or not, whether you want to see Albon stay another year, maybe you want to see someone else come into that seat. Please feel free to let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you guys like the video, please feel free to leave a like down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.